Jersey Devils have pulled off the big deal leading up to the NHL Trade Deadline. Timo Meier is a Devil. Trey Matthews of Locked On New Jersey Devils is here to talk about that and all things Devils next on the Locked On NHL Podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. This happy gentleman to my right now is Trey Matthews, the host of Locked On New Jersey Devils. And he's smiling because the Devils have just acquired Timo Meier in a blockbuster deal from the San Jose Sharks. Trey, always great to have you back on the show. And how happy should New Jersey Devil fans be right now?
The fact that they didn't have to give up Dawson Mercer or Yegor Sharangovich or Luke Hughes, Shimon the Mets, or Alexander Holtz, Devils fans, rejoice. Show your excitement because the offseason was kind of a little bit of a sore subject for Devils fans because we lost out on Kevin Fiala, we lost out on Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, but yet we were able to get Timo Meier added to our roster.
Yeah, very, very big addition. The biggest fish out there as far as the trade deadline was concerned. So where does Timo Meier fit into the New Jersey Devils lineup, in your opinion?
That's a good question. So you can't go wrong with pairing him either with Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier because for chemistry purposes, you could put him with Nico Hischier because they both represent the same country and obviously they were teammates together during the World Championships and they had good chemistry. So you could get like the Swiss cheese line combination, as I like to call it. But obviously Dawson Mercer has been on a tear the last few games for Devils, so you don't really want to break up that line too much. But then you could put him alongside with Jack Hughes, who's the best player on the team for Devils. And Jack Hughes not only knows how to get goals, he knows how to set up his teammates. He knows how to dish out the puck. So I think if you put Timo Meier on the second line with Jack Hughes and slide Andre Palat down to the third line, I don't think you could go wrong with that either, just because Andre Palat is a good depth piece. And like I said, Jack Hughes is the best player on the team. And then for Timo Meier, he adds not only great point production and goal production, similar to Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, and Jack Hughes, but you kind of get shades of other players on the Devils roster. So for Miles Wood, I never say he's an enforcer. I say he's a pest because he knows how to get under people's skin. He's not afraid to ruffle some feathers. And quite honestly, nowadays it's the only good thing. It's his only good use. But Timo Meier, he's the same way. He's not afraid to get under the skin of his opponent. He's not afraid to use his stick to bump him a little bit. He's not afraid to play physical. And then for Nathan Bastian, we see that Nathan Bastian, he loves playing out in front of the net and he loves getting those redirect goals and he loves being in the right place at the right possible time to sort of clean up the mess for New Jersey Devils. You get that for Timo Meier. So the breath of fresh air is that Timo Meier adds size, but at the same time, he could put up the same amount of goals and production, similar to, as I like to call them, our baby big three in Hischier, Bratt, and Hughes. But at the same time, he is physical, similar to Miles Wood, and he likes to play in front of the net and not afraid to get his hands dirty, similar to what Nathan Bastian has been doing throughout the course of the year for the Devils organization. So the fact that we get that caliber of a player added to our roster, that's huge for the Devils because if the last game against Philadelphia Flyers was any indicator, the Devils know how to rack up the goals.
One other area that I expect Timo Meier to have an impact on is the power play. How do you see him fitting in there and maybe with different line mates or in a different role with the extra attacker? What do you think?
Oh, like a glove, because we need help with our power play because our penalty kill is respectable, but power play wildly inconsistent throughout the course of the year. And usually it was our top power play that was struck, or no, it was usually our top power play that was good. But then after that, it's just like we need some help. So Timo Meier adds more depth and he adds more options. So that way the Devils aren't so top heavy on the man advantage. So Timo Meier will be a huge help, not only at even strength, but also on the power play. So like I said, knows how to rack up the goals. He knows how to rack up the points. And he had a career year in terms of point production last season with the San Jose Sharks. And we're seeing him have a pretty good year this time around as well. I expect for Timo Meier to be a huge addition for a Devils roster, despite the extension not really coming into fruition for the time being.
You mentioned the extension. There is no deal in place as of yet. How do you see negotiations playing out, and what do you think the odds are that come October, Timo Meier is still in a New Jersey Devils uniform?
Okay, so I'm mostly confident that Timo Meier will be a New Jersey Devil come next year, because I think he wanted to come here. His agent is Claude Lemieux, who is a former New Jersey Devil. So I think Timo Meier, the writing has been on the wall for a while. I'm sure he's been in touch with some of his fellow Swiss players in Jonas Siegenthaler and Nico Hischier. I think they said in recent interviews that they would love to have Timo Meier on the roster. So I think Timo Meier will feel at home with the Devils organization. Now, to answer your question, I think this actually works out for the Devils just a little bit more, because it doesn't add that much pressure to obviously extend them right now. And now you got to worry about Jesper Bratt. Now you can just take some time to deliberate and see, like, okay, how much should we pay Jesper Bratt and for how long? Because he's also set to become a restricted free agent. And the same can be said for Timo Meier, who's demanding around $9 million annually, but it's rumored that the Devils don't want to outpay someone compared to Jack Hughes' contract, who's getting paid $8 million annually. So they don't want to surpass that. So now you could try to find that compromise with Timo Meier and his camp. And then for Jesper Bratt, you try to work out an extension. So that way you get both those players signed to long-term deals, and they're a part of the New Jersey Devils core for years to come.
Obviously, it is very likely the Devils will face the New York Rangers in the first round of the playoffs, barring any major changes in the standings. How does Timo Meier impact that particular matchup against the Rangers first round of the playoffs?
That's a good question. The Devils have actually competed fairly well with the New York Rangers during the course of the year. I was in attendance for one of the game when I was up in the press box. The Rangers were up 3-1 and they blew a 3-1 lead, the infamous lead in sports. But the Devils, it just adds more competition, because the New York Rangers, they added Vladimir Tarasenko to the roster recently. The rumor to get Patrick Kane, and quite honestly, when this episode goes live, maybe Patrick Kane is on his way to New York. I don't know what the case might be, but that's another player that could be added to the roster. So quite honestly, it's going to be very exciting, because now you get Hughes, Hischier, and Bratt, and now Timo Meier added to the roster. And now you're talking about a Rangers team that was already pretty good. And now they've also added Vladimir Tarasenko and are rumored to be adding Patrick Kane within the next few days. I think that's going to be a marquee matchup, quite honestly. And basically everyone's going to be scurrying through their seats during the course of the playoffs. It's really exciting, but I think the Devils definitely know how to handle themselves against the Rangers, because they've already done so during the course of the year already.
Should be a very interesting stretch drive and a very interesting playoff run for the New Jersey Devils. Trey, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast, where they could find you on social media, so they can follow along with the Devils?
You can find me, my personal Twitter page, at TreyMatt4, TreyMatt, and the number 4. And you can find the show's Twitter page at Locked On Devils. And it's available wherever you get your podcast, also available on YouTube.
Trey, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Gil. I'm going to get back to celebrating now.
Today's episode is brought to you by AG1. Our next partner has a product I literally use every day. I started taking AG1 because I wanted to find one supplement that would take care of all my nutritional needs. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all these things. And it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.